Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council. I'm your host, Sean Boyle, and with me always is...
Ashley Mock.
Welcome.
No, always. Most of the time.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you.
And myself, to a degree. Well, welcome to the 1-hour commercial-free radio and today television program that's all about connecting you, the listeners and viewers, to what resources and things that are happening for children and families in St. Lucie County. If you're wondering why we stopped that great song, well, first of all, the song just ended. We played it in its entirety, but that is our theme song.
It is a great song.
Smile. We mixed it up. It used to be Ain't No Stoppin' Us Now, and in the last month or so, we went to Smile. Mm-hmm. Because it's a little bit more inspirational, motivational.
We like it.
I missed the 70s laters from Ain't No Stoppin' Us Now, but I like this song as well. We utilize this show to connect you, like I said, to what resources. And if you're wondering who the Children's Services Council is or does, and we do this every show, so hopefully our longtime listeners and viewers, you can step away, go grab a snack, because we'll still be talking about it when you get back. But Children's Services Council, we are an independent district that funds children's programs. We've been doing it since 1990, was when the community voted us in, and in 2014 November, the community reauthorized us to continue in existence to provide support, both funding and programmatic and research to currently 53 programs that last year reached over 30,000 kids. And those programs generally fall into 5 categories because there's some mixing and blending. But those 5 categories are: 1, making sure every baby's a healthy baby, whether it be the nurse home visitation program, early steps for children with developmental delays, or even healthy families and healthy kids. Second priority is stopping child abuse before it happens with programs I'm sure most of our listeners are familiar with, the Castle, Hibiscus, programs that work with parents to stop child abuse and really increase family bonding and skills. Third priority is keeping kids off the streets. You know, everybody knows what that is. After school programs and summer programs. That's a teaser to one of our topics today. Through the Boys and Girls Club, the Avenue D Boys and Girls Choir, Frontline for Kids, the YMCA, Future Generations, all said 12 altogether.
You almost got them all.
Yeah, MRC, I could keep going. I'm on a roll. Caffeinated today. Fourth priority is keeping kids in school, whether it be through truancy programs to make sure that kids are physically going to school, because you can't be successful in school unless you're actually there, and or providing, for example, reading mentors in 15 elementary schools to make sure that children are reading at grade level. And our last priority, and I'll stop talking after this, I promise, is keeping kids off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors. So how can they learn all about these programs?
Well,
it's a good segue, right?
Yeah, it was good. We have a couple different ways, and the easiest of those is to find us online. We have a great website at cscslc.org where you can learn all about our funded programs. We've got a brief description of each program up there, as well as contact information for those programs if you are looking for a little more information. You can also download a copy of our family guide there on our website, and the family guide is a printed version of all of that information. And in addition to that, for our after-school programs that Sean talked about, we list an address for those as well. So if you're looking for a program that is close to home, a program that is close to your child's school, you can find all of that information in our family guide. And even better, you can download our mobile app. We have a free app that is available on both the Android and the Apple platforms. And if, again, that location is something that you're looking for, you can map where all of our programs are. So if you're looking for something close or in a certain area, you can find where all of those programs are located and find something close to home to benefit your family. So again, website, family guide, mobile app, and then also Facebook. We have a huge Facebook presence. We share a lot of information on our Facebook page, including who the radio show guest is going to be every Tuesday, as well as information about upcoming events, tips for parents, all kinds of stuff that you can find there.
You know, I was just thinking when you were talking about the mobile app and how it can map it for you, because I'm like directionally impaired, right? I was just getting a flashback because I used to deliver pizzas.
Really?
And I'm directionally impaired. And this was before there was GPS and the phone. And I just got a flashback. I can't tell you how many pizzas I had to give away free because I was so late because I was on the wrong side of town.
Great job.
I was thinking how great that was. It would map it. I'd be able to find everything.
It is. It's a really cool feature. I would encourage everybody to find the app. You can search either CSC SLC in the Apple Store, or if you have an Android phone, it works a little better if you type out Children's Services Council and download the app. And we always say, say, it may not be something that you need to utilize every day, but chances are that you're going to be having a conversation with someone, whether it's a neighbor or a community member or a congregation member at church, and they may ask you if you've got a resource for family counseling. And all you have to do is pull up that app, find all of our programs, and you can send them the number right from the app. So it's really, really convenient.
And that was a perfect segue, because I was just going to say, folks, get your pens handy. If you're driving, we're going to post all this on our Facebook information, but be the person that connects somebody to an existing resource, right? Because we're all in this together. And that's the whole point of the show, is we're going to put it out there in hopefully kind of an entertaining way. At least we entertain ourselves as we do it. Yeah. Kind of an entertaining way, but the bottom line is in order for us to continue to effectuate change in this community, we need to start connecting people when they're in times of need to resources that are out there. So we're hoping that, even if you don't know somebody that can utilize what we're going to talk about today, maybe your kids are all grown up, maybe they don't even live in the area, but as Ashley said, could be your neighbor, coworker, congregation member. Keep it down, keep it in the back of your mind, and let's start connecting people to resources.
Exactly.
All right, so do you want to talk about, get your pens handy, folks, do you want to talk about some of the upcoming events?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of things happening in the next couple of weeks. And one that's not on our list that I wanted to mention is Friday morning, Devereaux is hosting a community recruitment breakfast for new foster parents. We've spent a lot of time over the last month and this month talking about child abuse, the child welfare system, and May is actually Foster Parent Awareness Month. So Devereaux is hosting a community breakfast Friday morning, which happens to be at our office, at the Children's Services Council office.
I know the directions to get there.
You can find that place.
Down. Yeah.
I'm glad you can make it there. But if anyone's interested, we actually posted about it on our Facebook page yesterday afternoon with a link to RSVP. So if you are interested in that, or maybe you know someone that has expressed an interest in becoming a foster parent, tag them in that post and see if they don't have time Friday morning to come. We would love to get a great attendance there. Breakfast is free, which is awesome because food is good.
Free is better.
Free is better. We will be there. I will be there Friday morning. So we would love to see all of you there. Again, the information was posted yesterday afternoon on our Facebook page, so you can find it. It is this Friday, which is May 15th. Thank you. And again, we would just love to see you there. Now, this Saturday, which is May 16th, there are also a bunch of events going on. And one that I believe we've got some tickets for.
We do.
We have, through a great partnership that the YMCA has with the St. Lucie Mets, they are hosting YMCA Family Night on Saturday, May 16th, and we have some free tickets to the game that is Saturday. So if anyone is interested in those, you can call us here at the radio station at 464-1400 or send us a message on Facebook. Send us a message on the website. If we still have tickets available, we'd be happy to get some to you. You will just have to come pick them up either here at the radio station or at our office in St. Lucie West.
Can you give that number again if people want to call? I can.
The number to call the radio is 464-1400.
And the library also on May 16th, Saturday, May 16th, has... Now, this is Lego as in play with Legos,
Play
right?
with Legos.
Because when I see, I get excited.
You think the Lego movie.
Because it's a good movie, yeah.
Not the Lego movie. It is play with Legos.
Which is also
library.
Fun as well. So you can play with Legos, obviously fun for the kids and the whole family, at the Morningside branch in Port St. Lucie from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., and the Hurston branch library in Fort Pierce starting at 2 p.m. this Saturday.
Correct.
So if you're looking for something to do, and the best part is, how much does it cost?
It's free.
It's free. It's our favorite word. And then on May 23rd, and we're jumping ahead because we're televised this month. On May 23rd, which is a Saturday, there's crafts for kids at the Morningside branch at 2 p.m. as well.
Yep. And all of those events are posted on our community calendar on our website. So if you're ever looking for something and you might forget what the date is that we mentioned on the radio show, you can find it all there.
And we talked about this a lot last year around this time, and we're getting ready to make the official announcement, but I'm going to leak it a little bit, is that, parents, grandparents are always looking for something to do in the summer, and particularly grandparents, something special to do with their kids, particularly obviously if they're local. We will be the sponsor for the free and/or dollar movies this summer again, which we're very excited for. And we try to cover the entire county, and we're able to get 2 of the 3 movie theaters to partner with us. So the Treasure Coast Mall, which I know a lot of Port St. Lucie residents utilized. I believe those movies are going to be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and it's generally around 10, 11 a.m. And then the Nova Cinema at Sable Palm Plaza, where Staples and Wendy's is. You can tell what I see as anchors. Corner of US 1 in Virginia. That theater, also, again, I believe on Tuesdays and Wednesdays around 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We'll give you more details. Some of us may not be at the radio program because we'll be at the movies probably, but it's usually free to get in or $1. A sponsorship that we're going to continue to do this year because we want to give families free, if not a greatly reduced cost, to build, to give them something to do, get them out of the heat, but also give them an opportunity to create special memories.
It's already hot outside, so I can only imagine what the summer months are bringing.
Yeah. Well, everything's summer in Florida except for that 3-week window when it's below 70. Summer,
and winter.
Right. So let me pause real quick for station ID, and then we're going to jump right to our guests. I want to remind everybody you're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council on legendary 1400 AM WIRA, or you're watching us on WLX, the St. Lucie educational channel. You're distracting me.
I'm sorry.
Take 2. WLX TV, the St. Lucie Education Channel, Comcast Fort Pierce Channel 13, Port St. Lucie Comcast Channel 19, ATT Uverse Channel 99, Lightstream Cable Channel 65, and Hometown Cable Channel 19. I got them all. I just mixed up the order.
I'm sorry, you were paying attention to what I was doing. Not focused.
Oh, the viewers understand.
Not focused.
They empathize with me. The listeners are like, what's he doing? So our next guest, we've talked a lot about summer's coming, clearly. If you're a parent, you don't realize that school's going to be out soon. Here's your wake-up call. School's going to be out soon.
16 days. I was at Sammy Gaines yesterday, and one of the teachers had something written up on the board that there's only 16 school days left.
And for the seniors.
Is that true? Ugh.
Viewers, answer the question. Is that true?
That's not very many.
No. If you have a senior in the house like I do, it's less than that.
Yikes.
I know. So if you haven't thought about what your kids are going to do during the summer,
now's
the time. So we have summer camp offerings that we offer, which is available on our website, and we post that information. But if you go into our funded program section, there's a whole separate section, funded programs. I believe there's about 12 offerings. But today we have Deputy.
I wish.
Deputy.
We're giving you promotions here on the radio show.
We have
That's
Sheriff.
What happens here.
We have Deputy Faye Campbell from the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office to talk about a great summer camp that you guys are offering.
Yes. Once again, we are here for this time it was a spin, because last time we were here it was only for 1 week, but this time we're doing 2 weeks. And it's going to start June 15th through the 19th, 9 to 11.
Wait, start over. Give the date again.
Okay.
We're having technical issues here, folks.
I'm watching Sean.
Yes,
So now I'm watching him. I'm getting distracted, sir. But we have 2 this week. Okay. So we have 2 weeks this summer, June 15th to June 19th. For the ages are 9 to 11, and it's $20 per week.
That's a great deal. Hold on, that's a great deal.
Thank you.
20 for the week?
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
He's awesome. And then it also includes 2 meals. There's going to be outings this year as well. We're going to Super Play. We're also going to have a pool trip as well. And while we're there, we're going to have it departmentalized. So we're good throughout the week. We have activities with arts and craft. We have activities for reading, because we know during the summer, a lot of times that educational component is necessary to ensure that when they start school again, they're where they need to be and they haven't lost any skill sets. So we're going to make sure they read at least 1 hour during that time frame. The hours are from 8 to 4 p.m. And we have 2 site locations. We're going to have one at Westwood, and we have the other site location, which is at Northport. So it's a north and a south. We're trying to hit the entire county. And then the second week goes for the age of 12 to 14. And the reason why we want to separate them, we're also teaching them 1 class per day. But they're going to talk basically about character skills, how to build certain character traits that you need to be successful, not just in the world, but more importantly in your home, in your society, the community-based things that they can use right now. And in transition, a lot of times from 8th, 9th grade into high school setting, there's certain characters that you need, so we want to separate them so that we can target the characters that each specific age group needs.
That's outstanding.
And it's still same thing, $20 per week for that as well.
We're
awesome.
having that conversation before you arrived about the price and how reasonable it was, and we're
Yes.
grateful for that. 'Cause
You
we hear that a lot
probably-
from families.
You probably couldn't feed most kids for $20 a day, 2 meals, and $20 for the week. That's awesome.
Yes.
So June 15th through June 19th, and that's ages 9 to 11.
Yes.
I'm saying this for the folks watching and listening. If you know somebody ages 9 to 11, we got 1 week covered for you. June 15th to June 19th at what I like this because you're covering North and South County.
Yes.
So Westwood High School, which is right off that's Panther Lane,
Panther
but it's
Lane.
right off is that
Or
Ang-
Angle Road.
Angle
Road.
Road, and then Northport K-8, which is right off of Floresta. So you got South County and North County covered, which is outstanding. And it's only
Very good.
$20. And I like the idea. I see that it's a Kids at Hope camp as
Yes,
well.
we partnered with Kids at Hope. We do have the pledge, and we do believe in it. Yes.
That's awesome. The idea that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. And if listeners, you don't know what that is, go ask a kid that's in school. I guarantee you they'll know what that is.
That's right.
And it includes reading.
We like that.
Because we know, and you hit it right on it, we know that the research shows that families that don't, if your child is not getting some type of educational reinforcement during the school year, they're going to slide behind their peers that are. So that, I mean, this has got it covered.
It sounds like you guys have done a great job. And I think we talked about last week there was 1 week. And last year there was 1 week.
Right.
This year there's 2 weeks. I think that's great. And
Yes.
I hope that next summer we've got even more weeks to cover.
Thank you. I do
'Cause
too.
I know that you guys did have a great turnout last
Yes.
year.
Yes, we did.
And some
We did.
really
86.
happy kids. So
Wow.
86. The target was 100, and we got 86.
That's awesome.
So it was awesome, but we only targeted that one age group. Now we're increasing it to 9 and 11. We're hoping
Fabulous.
to increase the number as well.
So that's a good question. Maybe you mentioned it, and my ADD made me miss it. Did you mention how many kids can register at each site?
It's 25 per,
Okay.
but we're still open.
Okay.
We really don't want to turn anyone behind or back. And the registration deadline is the Friday before the first Monday of that camp.
Okay. So we have through almost the first or second week of June to
Yes.
register. Very
Yes.
nice. And registration information, do they need to call you for that? What's the best way?
We have a
for
couple of. First of all, you guys are great because we're on your webpage as well,
Yep.
and also ERT. The Sheriff's Office has us on Facebook as well, so there's ways to connect with us through social media sites. But we also have numbers to call. Directly, you can call myself, which is Faye Campbell. I'm at 807-4511, 807-4511. And the North coordinator is Deputy Delgado. He's at 772-468-5416, 772-468-5416. And also, you can always call the Sheriff's Office as well. And we will email you the application to try to make it even easier for you. If you want to call or actually email me directly, you can email me, which is campbellp@stluciesheriffs.com, or Delgado, which is DELGADO at stluciesheriffs.com. So multiple ways to find us.
So many ways. Making it easy.
We're trying
We
to
like
improve
that.
this year.
We like
many
that.
ways.
And don't worry, listeners, if you're driving and you're listening, we'll post all this on our Facebook page so that you can easily get it.
Definitely.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a great turnout for you guys. And I think one of the things that I really see beneficial is that positive interaction that these kids will get with law
Yes.
enforcement. I
Yes.
think that's
Thinking the same
so important
Yes.
right now.
Especially
with some,
right now.
with some of the
Yes.
things we have going on. And what a great opportunity for them to get relationships with and build positive relationships
Yes.
with law enforcement officers.
Yes. And their family, too, to be that voice of maybe say, well, I had a positive experience, and maybe you can trust this person because
Right.
I have a positive experience with that person.
Exactly. I think it's wonderful.
And we got to give credit to the sheriff's office.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, I'm sure in the general description of the sheriff's, you know, doing summer camps for kids isn't, you know, one of the things that naturally, like, of course that's what the sheriff should do. But we got to give credit and outstanding to not only the sheriff, but all the officers because they do give back to the community. We see them a lot of places that, you wouldn't think law enforcement would traditionally be there. So, kudos to the Sheriff's Office for making this happen, and kudos for making it very affordable and making it
accessible.
I mean, look at
as
this.
well.
I see Super Play on there. I want to go.
We might be able to find you a spot in there. We'll see. I don't
I'll
know
have to
that
go
you
to
fit
9
in
to
the
11,
I don't know that you fit in the age range, but we'll see what we can work out there for you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know you got a lot going on.
Yes, yes.
We're going to give out that number again. Again, we'll post this on our Facebook page and we'll help spread the word. But again, listeners and viewers, even if your kids are all grown up, I guarantee you probably know somebody who has a 9 to a 14-year-old. So write this number down. It's 807-4511. Again, 807-4511. Talk to Deputy Campbell. She'll get you the information and get your child engaged in something positive this summer.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, it's great to see you.
Same.
It's so, as we transition, I know it's, summer camps and things to do. I remember being a kid many years ago, and, I was one of those kids that was left at home alone during the summer. I'm not going to lie, I found stuff to do.
Was it good?
Not all of it. and so, we need to think about this, and parents need to start to plan about what their kids are going to be engaged with. And, what I really like about what the sheriff is offering and what a lot of our programs are offering, it's not just that it's, something for them to do, like, oh, they're going to have water balloon play
Right.
and they're going to run around, get sweaty, and then you're going to take them home. I like the fact that it's 8 to 4, so that's able to meet most working parents' schedules. I like the fact that it's affordable, and there's an educational component.
And character building. I know she talked a lot about the character building aspects of it, and I think that that's, something really great to reinforce with our kids. And I think what you said really hits it. We hear all the time from parents while we're out in the community that they didn't know what was available, or they didn't know how to find the resources for what they were looking for. And we hope that that's something that this radio show and that our listeners and that our funded programs are doing, is really to kind of bridge that gap and be the resource for the people who might be out there looking for those services, because there's so many things that are offered here in our community. There's just no excuse for us to hear anymore that people don't know what's going on.
I want to turn my mic so that you and I can just have it. But you're so right, because when we started this show, we never know how long, let's say 3 years ago.
Sure.
We said, how do we measure the success, whether it's worth it or not? And honestly, if just one person a week connect somebody, it's worth
Then
it,
it's
right?
worth it, right?
Because that person is then going to connect somebody else. And I mean, besides the the humor that you get when I knock the microphone down, which just happened, but that's the whole point of the show. So a very good point. Let me pause real quick for station ID, because I know we're going to get into another good conversation, and it's a little bit early. But I want to remind everybody you're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council on legendary 1400 AM WIRA, or you're watching us on WLX, the St. Lucie Education Channel. And if you're a Comcast viewer, you're watching us on Channel 13 in Fort Pierce or Channel 19 in Port St. Lucie. If you're an AT Uverse subscriber, you're watching us on Channel 99. Hometown Cable, we got you covered, Channel 19. And Lightstream Cable in St. James, Channel 65. Thank you for tuning in. Don't turn yet. Thank you for tuning in. And we do still have baseball tickets.
We do.
This is 2 weeks now we've had baseball tickets. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to use some if nobody else takes them.
I'll be there.
But we have tickets to give away. Sharon will be there. Look at that. We do have baseball tickets to give away. All you got to do is call into the show at 464-1400. It's for this Saturday, May 16th game. Or if you're watching us, and I know it runs for a month, so hopefully you're watching us before May 16th. But if it is, go to Facebook. Look up Children's Services Council, St. Lucie County, message us, and we'll get you connected as well.
Don't let that discourage you, though, because we do get free tickets from time to time. So if you are watching us after May 16th, shoot us a message on Facebook, and we'll make sure that the next time we have tickets, we get some for you.
We were giving away. Actually, let's just say what it is. If you're watching us and you want something for free, because we've given away books, we've given away bags, we've given away T-shirts, we've given away baseball tickets. Just let us know you're watching. We'll hook you up. Is that fair?
Yeah, I like it.
That's fair.
I like it.
Do you want to introduce our guest?
Sure.
Before I smack somebody with my hand?
Well, I know. We were having an interesting conversation before the show started about talking with your hands, and you do it a lot and kind of knock things over.
It's a we did that thing in the office where, your personality. I'm an introvert, right?
So is that how you?
So this is it's like a nervous thing, I probably just need to twirl something to keep from hitting you, but yeah.
There you go. Okay. We do have another great guest with us today, and she is here representing a program that we have talked about before on the radio show. New to the position, but very happy to have her. Miss Cathy Mouring is here to talk about Graceway Village. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I know that you are new to this position, so tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from, and how you got here.
Oh my goodness. My background has nothing to do with any of this or the position that I'm privileged enough to have at this point. I homeschooled for 21 years, all three of my children. And while I was doing that, I was the administrator of a small private school in St. Lucie County for homeschoolers. So that was a nice blend to have it so entwined with the work I was doing with my children. And how I came about this, I really still don't have an answer.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention is truly the way that it came about, in all honesty.
Wonderful. Well, I know some of our listeners may be familiar with Graceway Village or one of the programs that Graceway has. So give us a little overview about what it is that you guys do in the community, and then we'll kind of break into some of those programs and talk about them specifically.
Absolutely. Graceway Village has 3 programs that really benefit our community. 2 are to help meet immediate needs. One of them is Hope's Closet for Children, which I know that you've spoken with, interviewed Lynn Chastain and Gabby Rothman on that quite often, as well as we also have Matthew's Café, which is a food kitchen on Sunday nights. Those 2 meet immediate needs, clothing and food. The third one is called the Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By world, and it's through the Bridges to Prosperity initiative nationwide. It's funded through the Round Table of St. Lucie County. Well, actually, it's funded through United Way of St. Lucie County, and it's administered by the Round Table. And that one is a wonderful opportunity for the students who participate in it. They're motivated to get out of the living circumstances that they're in. They just don't know how. And this course takes them through a lot of individual research on their own regarding the community they live in, as well as their own choices, habits, problem-solving abilities, and they grow tremendously individually as a class, and it just carries on generation after generation. So.
We've had Graceway on before, and every time we've had Graceway on before, because you guys do so much, and we're always so interested in details of it. We're always like, we can never explain it all in one show. And as I was writing it down, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have a hard time fitting all this in. So I'm gonna let you choose of those 3 things that you offer, which are all awesome. I mean, we're very familiar with all 3. Which one would you, we're going to go through most of them, but which one would you like to go into detail to start with? Which one would you like to start with?
I'm going to start with Matthew's Café, simply because I know that Hope's Closet for Children has already had some time on air. So Matthew's Café, one of Graceway Village's desires is to meet unmet needs in the community. We don't need to duplicate terrific work that's already being done. And so in researching it, Sarah's Kitchen, they have wonderful meals 5 days a week in St. Lucie County for individuals in need with that. So we looked and was, okay, there's nothing on the weekend that we saw at that time. And so we zeroed in on Sunday. And Sunday, there still is no other location in St. Lucie County to get a free hot meal that's nutritious and in a really pleasant, respectful atmosphere. And so that's how it came about. We like to send them home with a little bit of food as well whenever the opportunity arises to help meet the needs.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. We both were getting ready to jump in.
Well, one of the things that I find so interesting about Matthew's Café is the way that you guys set up the sort of experience for the people who are coming in. Can you talk a little bit about that and the reasons behind it?
Each individual has an innate need to be respected, this bottom line. And we realize that there's a real shortage of that for the individuals who are in need. We also realize that they don't have an opportunity. I can jump in the car and hit Wendy's and McDonald's, as Sean was referring to, or go to a restaurant with my husband and have those an hour of being waited on. And so we want to offer that to them as well. It's a time to build relationships with them. We have wonderful repeat volunteers who come on a regular basis, 12 to 18 every Sunday night, and they really enjoy serving the food to them as well as as getting to know them a bit and welcoming them. You see a regular come in, it's like, hey, Joe, how are you? It's so good to see you again. And it's something that we all benefit from.
And so when they come in, it's like a restaurant, right? I mean, they're
Yes.
seated at a table, they're given a menu, and they are waited on.
Not quite. We don't
Okay.
have a menu for
Okay,
them.
okay.
No,
But they're waited on.
They're waited on, absolutely. We allow them to choose their own seats. They've built a community amongst themselves, and that might be the only time they see some of their friends. And so they sit wherever they'd like to sit. We do let them get their own salad. We always have a fresh salad for them, a very nice salad bar, and then we serve the main course and dessert. The dessert is always certainly one of their favorites, and our volunteers tend to vie for that job as well because the reaction is always positive. They may not like the peas on the plate, but I can guarantee you when that dessert cart comes by, they're very excited. Yeah.
That's excellent.
And I have to give you credit because, I mean, obviously what that you've been doing and you know all three aspects for so long, but you know being in the field that we're in, you know, and providing resources to programs and funding programs, you know, we hear good stuff, but we also hear some criticism or at least questions and legitimate questions. And one of the first questions I always hear is, do you have overlap? You know, are you funding something that's overlapping another, and maybe if you just funded one aspect and not the other, you could save money and, you know, resources and all that. And I really appreciate the fact, and you know, and I just don't want it lost on our listeners and our viewers, is that you researched what was happening in the community, and you realized that, for example, Sarah's Kitchen, which is awesome,
Yes, it is.
Monday through Friday, you know, so you didn't start your cafe on Thursdays because Monday through Friday is taken care of. So I really appreciate that, and I want our listeners and viewers to realize, you know, that, you know, how smart that was, and really, again, meeting the unmet needs. I just want to give you credit for that. That's big.
Thank you. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, and there's no reason to be competitive with
Right.
other nonprofits that are at the same goal that we have. We are going to be enriching Matthew's Cafe experience in the near future. There's individuals who they're dependent upon Meals on Wheels Monday through Friday, and they are provided with one frozen meal for the weekend, which is great, but they're not able to get out on a Sunday.
Right.
And come to Matthew's Cafe, whether it's through disability or age. And so we're in the process right now of canvassing certain areas and locating individuals who meet that need, and we'll have teams every Sunday who will carry a meal to those who are unable to come
That's
themselves. So we're
excellent.
very excited about
That's-
that new program starting up.
I love Graceway.
We love it
Say that out
too.
there.
Well, I think we would be remiss if we didn't kind of put the call out to our listeners and viewers. Obviously, the work that's being done is being done by volunteers.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure that you have a long list that you pull from, but are always looking for additional volunteers to help out. So if there's a way for someone to participate, if they have time or talent to offer, how can they get in touch with you to get that taken care of?
Excellent point. Well, they can go to our website, which is gracewayvillage.com, and go onto Matthew's Cafe page there, and there's a link that will allow them to send an email directly to the Matthew's Cafe director, whose name is Peggy Hennessy. They can also email matthewscafe@gracewayvillage.com, and Peggy will receive that email, or they can also email info@gracewayvillage.com with the same desire. We have two different shifts actually on Sundays. We have one from 1:30 to 4:30, which is meal prep. There is almost always a shortage of volunteers for that. And then there's the meal service and cleanup, which is 4:30 to 6:30 on Sundays.
Probably most people want to be part of the serving part, right?
Who
I
doesn't like to have
would.
a smiling face? Absolutely, absolutely.
So, okay, you read my mind too. I was like, wow, we need to push for, you know, and
Thank
again, we always say the show is not a passive show. I mean, you can sit back, listen, and then just wash your mind of everything that we talked about. We do the show because we want everybody to be active and engaged in the community. This is a great way to do it. I also want to throw out, not only if somebody wants to volunteer, give of their time, but I'm assuming this food that you get, I mean, it's not just, I mean, it comes from somewhere, right? So, I mean, you would take donations. I don't want to overstep. I'm trying to read your body language, but you would accept donations as well.
Absolutely. First of all, we want to always thank St. Lucie County Food Bank. I mean, they are the wings beneath our wind beneath our wings. Is that right? Regarding the majority of the food, we do accept donations of non-perishable items. We also allow opportunities for them to get a book or a magazine. Excuse me. So when they come and after they eat, they can go and get a little bag of food to take home with them to sustain them just a little teeny bit longer. And they also can choose a book or a magazine. So I always look for donations of those. These adults really, really are hungry for reading material. I do ask that the reading material is not explicit in sexual nature, nor violent. Just want to just kind of keep it really healthy reading that's just going to bless them. And magazines are great.
That's
That's
outstanding.
that's a great point. That's something that I would imagine is probably overlooked often.
Easy. It's easy to overlook that.
Wonderful.
I
So
didn't know that
books,
about you.
magazines, food, whatever.
Time,
Time,
money.
talent, cooking. We need chefs. We need meal
Money, don't
preparers.
forget money.
Absolutely.
Money,
If you
money
can.
is good.
One of the things I enjoy the most with clients is I try to stay involved a bit because I can sit behind the desk and do administrative work all day. You know how
Yes.
it's never ending, but I need to stay in touch, and so that's my privilege at the job is I get to mingle in there at times, and every once in a while I get to work with an individual who it's just the bottom is just fallen out. And I remember it was probably about 2 months ago, there was a young woman and there was 7 in her household, and the husband had just lost the job, and they were for the first time facing this crisis. And she didn't approach me. I just, as I was walking by and said hello, I saw a certain look in her face, and so I started talking, and I brought her into the office just to kind of give her some pointers as to how to help. I mean, we certainly were able to provide her with some things, just basics of toilet paper for 7 people. If you just think about that for a second, you don't
That's a
even
lot.
think of that need, but it's there. But I pulled up the Sarah's Kitchen website and pulled up the calendar, and I showed her how there's Monday through Friday, there's 5 different locations, and yes, some of them might be a drive for her, but what it would cost for her family to drive to one would certainly be less than what it would cost to feed them. And then, of course, Matthew's Café on Sunday night, so it's 6 nights a week that they could have a meal provided. And then that money could then be put towards things such as utilities and mortgage and rent, which the domino effect is just amazing, as we all know. So that to me is one of my favorite. And I always tell them, the parents who are bringing children to the meal, come about 20 minutes afterwards, because if you come right at 5 o'clock, there's a long line of individuals. And in all honesty, that could be a bit difficult for the children. And so I say, come 5:20, 5:25, plenty of food, plenty of seating still available, and it'll be much more of a restaurant experience for the kids.
Can I ask, and I'm kind of brainstorming here on TV, I guess. How many children generally, you say families, and some children obviously come, on a weekly basis or monthly basis, just approximately, do you know how many children are there generally?
Really can't give you a number so much as, I could do some real quick math. I'd say 20% of who come are children.
Okay.
And we average about 100 a week. We served actually 5,192 meals last year at
Wow.
Matthew's Café. And so if 20% of that are children, that tells you something.
Part of the thing that we were talking about before we went live on the air was the poverty forum that took place. And, it was really kind of eye-opening, the amount of people that are in poverty, and a lot of people, for like what you just expressed with that story, a lot of people that for the first time are finding themselves in what they call situational poverty. So it's great that you're helping them guide and navigate so that they can kind of level off, if you will, and get back on their feet. But the amount of children that are food insecure and in poverty, I believe, is close to 30%. That's the reason why I was asking, just was curious, and thinking about the reading material that we might be able to help out with.
Certainly. And too, one of the things that I think about when you mention that is these families who for the first time are being put under the stress, under the situation, that most often is what leads to cases of child abuse or neglect. And if we can get to the family very early on, and oftentimes it's those exact families that don't reach out and ask for help, but if we can identify needs that you can very easily help them meet by pulling up a calendar and showing them where they can get food, just to kind of alleviate some of the stress on that family, we very likely can prevent situations of abuse and neglect in children, which is just is so simple, something so simple that makes such a big impact.
There's the domino effect in a negative way, which I just alluded to, but there's also the domino effect in the positive way, and that's what you've just shared.
So, folks, all right, I told you this was going to happen. We covered one thing, and we got so engrossed in it, but Matthew's Cafe, Sunday evenings. But if you want to be part of it and give back to the community, and again, we always say this, our community is what we make of it. So we want everybody to get involved in something. The volunteer time, obviously donations of non-perishable foods and/or, let's be honest, money, and and my wife is watching this show, for example. She's a big magazine reader. All those magazines that stack up and either go in the recycle bin or just kind of sit around forever. If you've got one of those stacks, bring it to Graceway Village, because I love the idea, and I didn't even know that I knew the feeding part and I knew how it was delivered, but I didn't know that you gave them reading material and how much they're thirsty for that. So
absolutely.
Hopefully our listeners and viewers will get engaged with that. That's outstanding.
Excellent. Yep.
All right, so we talked about Matthew's Cafe. We got like 15 minutes left. I knew this was going to happen.
It always happens.
This is why Graceway is always coming back, always welcome back. All right, so spin the wheel again. All right, so we did Matthew's Cafe. Your choice, Hope's Closet or Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By World?
Well, I'm going to visit Hope's Closet again, as well. Hope's Closet for children, it meets immediate needs, just like Matthew's Cafe. We provide a boutique style setting for the parents who bring their children in for clothing through the ages of 17. If you've ever gone to Plato's Closet or some nicer consignment stores, it's definitely a retail event. And I will tell you, the children walk in, the children are excited. Teens, it's a little bit more difficult. They're more aware of the situation and whatnot. But the children that come in, they're excited because they're going shopping and they get to pick out some clothes. Our focus certainly is on clothing that will meet the school system dress code. It is so not unusual to have children who are literally unable to go to school because they do not have dress code appropriate clothing. And I understand why the schools have that firm line. I fully do. And so we get phone calls of an immediate need. And we only open on Wednesdays. It's from 10 to 5 on Wednesdays. We take our last client at 4:15. But there's times we'll get a call on a Thursday or a Friday. One time I was there on a Saturday and I got a call and I was there. So I'm like, please come on. Quite often it's caseworkers, social workers who need that. So that's something we're able to do. I received an email from Linda Chastain, who is the director of Hope's Closet for Children, just this morning. And she had a crisis need come in yesterday of a young man who couldn't attend school because he didn't have shoes. We so take that for granted. He truly didn't have shoes. And so Linda was able to meet that need. That's when we get emotional. We don't necessarily get emotional so much on Wednesdays. We're excited, we're ready, we're moving, we're getting it, we're meeting the parents and enjoying the children and watching them take their clothing. It's when these crises come in that we almost compete for who gets to take care of them because it's such a privilege. It really is. Each child walks out with 14 to 18 pieces of clothing, of which we always provide 3 new pairs of underwear and 3 new pairs of socks. Those are items we want them to have brand new. And the rest are high quality, in good condition. And when I say high quality, I don't mean necessarily the top brands out there. I just mean it good condition clothing that our litmus test is simple. Would I put it on my child? If I would, we're keeping it.
And you take donations, obviously, of good used clothing. I know good's not the right word. I know
Gently used.
Gently used. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gently loved.
There you go.
On an average Wednesday, we give out anywhere from 600 to 1,000 pieces of clothing. So we're continuously in need for donations of children's clothing. We have drop-off boxes, one that's on our campus, which is, by the way, 1780 Hartman Road, Fort Pierce, Florida. I'll say that one more time, 1780 Hartman Road in Fort Pierce, Florida. It's just north on Hartman Road at the intersection of Okeechobee and Hartman Road. We have a drop box at Indian River Presbyterian Church, which is at Virginia and 25th Street. Thank you so much. And then there's one in Tradition at the Old Navy store. There's a box inside. They're wonderful.
There is one at our office as well.
There you go.
Yeah. So lots of places, lots of opportunities. I know we have a camera in our lobby and we can see when people are coming to drop off in the box, and people come with truckloads, it seems. So definitely if there are any, and I know this is probably a great time of year for parents who are cleaning out closets towards the end of the school year.
Kids grow and they outgrow.
And likely they're not going to be in the same size in August when they return back to school. So what a great opportunity for you to make those uniform donations to Hope's Closet to benefit some of the kids who are in need. I know there may be some very well-loved items that your kids use through the school year, but chances are there's a few pieces that they didn't nearly wear often as much that could really go to a great benefit for some of our local children.
And if you have a teenager and maybe they've already kind of grown, they're not going to wear what they wore last year.
Right.
Or at least they're going to try to not tell you that they can't wear it. So
Absolutely.
by all means, share it. And again, we gave away your street address, 1780 Hartman Road, which again is off of Okeechobee Road. Just if you're familiar with where the school district office is and that Orange Blossom Mall Plaza, I don't know if that's what it's still called. It's just a little bit, I guess, west or east of that. But we haven't given away your phone number, which I'm kind of embarrassed that we haven't had you give away your phone number yet. No? Okay. Or the best way is the website.
The best way is the website or the internet. We do not man the phone constantly,
Oh,
and
well,
I feel
we don't want to
bad.
give away a number that
No
somebody's
one
not going to be able to
answer,
get to.
right.
They may
I
have to
respect
wait a
that.
day or two to have their
Yeah,
call returned, and email we can return from wherever we're at. So
That's I
Very
like
good
that.
point.
So it's GracewayVillage, all spelled out, .com.
yes, sir.
So info at MatthewsCafe@gracewayvillage.com. Any of those are appropriate.
Right, it'd be info at gracewayvillage.com or Matthew's Cafe at gracewayvillage.com or Hope's Closet at gracewayvillage.com.
Lots of options.
Right. You do info, we pretty much make sure it gets to where it needs to go.
And folks, don't worry if you're like, wow, I didn't write that down in time. We're going to post all this information on our
Yes.
Facebook page so that you can get connected and or spread this information to somebody else. So Hope's Closet is on Wednesdays from 10 to 5. Now, if somebody's interested or has a need, do they go to the website and express that, or because I know a lot of the referrals come from agencies that are working in the community. I just want to make sure that, if somebody has a need, do they need to contact their school, or do they go contact Graceway directly?
Great question. Our website certainly has a page that will step them through what they need to do. We have over 60 referring agencies where they do have to receive a voucher from one of the referring agencies in order to shop. They just can't walk in, and we hate to see them do that because it's so discouraging to turn them away. They certainly don't like it either.
Right.
But they can contact the health worker at their school. For a voucher, they can go to Salvation Army, Mustard Seed, Harvest Foods, many churches and many private schools as well are referring agencies, and they're all listed on our website. So what they need to do is they need to have a picture ID and take it into any of the referring agencies that they locate from the website and receive their voucher, and then they can come in on any Wednesday.
You know what I like about that as well, and again, it's kind of what I said about Matthew's Cafe. You're meeting an unmet need, and you're also, it'd be easy to just say, everybody come, but, by working with all these agencies and the school systems and all that, you're really making sure that you hit the families that are in desperate need.
Absolutely.
And I just give you credit for that as well.
Thank
I
you.
just think that's outstanding planning. All right, so we've got 5 minutes left. I apologize, phone caller. We were so engrossed in the conversation. I saw it blink and then you stopped. If you want to call back, by all means do. We do still have baseball tickets to give away at 464-1400. And again, viewers, if you're watching us, hit us up on Facebook. We'll get you connected with either baseball tickets or books with your kids and or the bags that we give away.
We've got lots of stuff.
So I'm being, what's the word here? I don't know, aggressive or wishful thinking. We've got one more. We're going to get all three of them in,
You
I
think I can get in real
Well, yeah, I think so.
You
We
have
got
plenty of time.
Yeah.
Well, I already briefly described getting ahead, so there's really not a whole lot that I need to bring to it. It's for individuals who want to get out of poverty, and they really don't know how. They've been trying and nothing has worked. And so it's a class. They have to be committed to come twice a week to a class. We host ours in the evening. There are other ones in our area that are during the day. They're 3 hours long each. One of the things I like about it is that the Round Table and United Way, they're focusing on both ends of the spectrum. They've got the Getting Ahead program that's helping provide individuals with some necessary change in order to become successful. And they're educating the general public as well, and particularly the businesses, of a very similar mindset from their perspective. To get these two together in employment is my ultimate goal, in all honesty, because as a business owner, if I was a business owner, I would be reassured and encouraged to hire a Getting Ahead graduate, especially if I've gone through the Bridges Out of Poverty program, which is for the businesses. So that's what so thankful that the United Way has been so generous in their funding on to be able to enable both entities. And Graceway offers internships to any of the graduates from the program if it happens to fit our categories. I mean, it is volunteer. The funding isn't available to pay, but we have one currently working with the Matthews Café director to learning the different skills from cooking and ordering and all that stuff. And then I've had two for the office as well.
That's, what a great kind of entry into restaurant management or a food service job or an office management position if that is the case. And I like what you said about employers, because that is, these people they're graduates of a program where they obviously have already put in dedicated time. They have been self-motivated. So as an employer, as a hiring employer, that's something that I'm going to look for. I want to know that person is going to show up, be committed, and do all of those things. So those are great qualities to have in an employee that I want to hire in my business.
Absolutely.
That's great.
And, I think I don't think I know. I saw two graduates that came to a roundtable meeting and presented what getting ahead and just getting by a world meant to them to go through it, and it was emotional just to hear them talk about the change that they made for themselves and how it's going to benefit their families and what a great program it was. And, it's obviously about, getting out of poverty. Getting out of poverty and, finding your place in the workplace and establishing those needs. But it's much more than that. I mean, it's really life transformational. At least that's the way they expressed it. So I was very moved by it. And I was also struck by, at the Poverty Forum, that we alluded to earlier, I happened to be in a work group that included Career Source, that does job skills training for people looking for employment. And they said that they wanted getting ahead and just getting by world given to all the people that are going through it, because it really created the baseline for them to build those skills. Because a lot of times when they go to build those skills, that base, that the base isn't there, and so it's almost for naught. And so I was just very moved by, obviously, how impactful it is, and grateful that Graceway, and I think the Parent Academy or somebody else's.
Parent Academy and First United Methodist, they offered classes as well.
Yeah, I just, there's so much good happening in this community, and there's a lot of need in the community, but there's so many great people that are working for great agencies that are really trying to continue to transform this community. It just, anytime I get down, or if I just read the newspaper too much and just reading the headlines, I really reflect back a lot of times on the guests that we bring on the show and know that there are people waking up and doing what they can to continue to make this place, St. Lucie County, the place that we call home, a better place.
I think one of the things that sticks out to me about all of the programs that you have is people in these situations, and I don't mean to very generalize that. I know it sounds that way when I say that, but a lot of times people in these situations, families in these situations, are lacking one thing, and it's self-esteem. And that's the hardest thing to kind of overcome, to get the help that they need, to make the phone calls, to reach out, to kind of motivate themselves to maybe they are experiencing a job loss for the first time in their life that's greatly impacting their family. And no one has ever had to deal with that before in their family, so they don't really have a support system in place. But Graceway is there to kind of pick up that family and really show them how to have the self-esteem that they need to get their family to a better place. And all of these things that are in place for them are kind of the footsteps to that. And as Sean said, laying the foundation for them to really build them back to what they need to be successful.
Thank you so much.
I was thinking for a future show, we should have Cathy come back on, obviously. I mean, we're going to do that, period. But maybe she could bring a graduate from Getting Ahead.
Oh, I would love that.
That would be
That
wonderful.
That would be absolutely
We'll
wonderful.
bring some Kleenex in, I think. But that would be a great program.
Wonderful.
Again, people, we're given, we talked about summer camps, and we had the sheriff's office come on. They're offering a greatly reduced summer camp, both in North County and South County. We're talking with Graceway Village, the three outstanding programs, Matthews Café, Hope's Closet, and a Getting Ahead and a Just Getting By World. We want you to be part of it. And be part of it can mean maybe you send your kid to the camp, or you take advantage of the resources provided by Graceway, or maybe being part of it is you donate your time, your used magazines and books, your clothing. I mean, there's so many different ways, but the bottom line is we got to get involved. right? We got to, it's up to us. And when I say us, I don't mean us three, including Sharon, who's filming it. I mean us, everybody listening and viewing. We got to get involved, and this is a great way to do it. Again, so Graceway Village, go to gracewayvillage.com. They got a great website. It outlines everything and outlines how you can get involved on both aspects. But don't hesitate. Do it now.
There you go.
Like right now.
Yeah, time's running out.
And again, I know we've said this several times, but if you are driving or watching the show, we will share all of this information on our Facebook page so that you've got easy links to find Graceway Village. We don't want any hesitations or complications for making those connections, so we'll be sure to do that. And if you do have any questions about any of the programs that they offer or getting in touch with Cathy, you can always call our office as well at 408-1100, and we'll make those connections for you.
So, Cathy, you got like 10 seconds. Any shout-outs you want to give out? Any, shout out to Linda and Gabby Rothman and all them?
Well, actually, I'll give a shout out to all of our volunteers and our staff. We just received last Thursday, I don't know if you were there or not, but the 211 Nonprofit Awards, which was 4 counties. It was 4 counties, and we received the Rising Star Award. So we're
Congratulations.
very excited at the acknowledgement amongst our peers that we are
That is
actually
wonderful.
accomplishing something for the good in our area.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for tuning in and listening. It's a weekly radio program, monthly television show. We're everywhere. Turn around, we're there, either on your radio or on TV. We want to thank you for tuning in. It is, again, weekly, so we'll be back on the air on legendary 1400 AM WIRA. We'll be back next month with a new show on the St. Lucie County Education Channel, and we want to thank you for tuning in, and we want to thank you for getting involved. And remember, this is our children, our community, our future. We're in this together. See you next time.